So you guys ready to laugh a lot?
Yeah.
More? So please welcome to stage, he's the father to us all, Vincent Caldera!
Wow, they're never like that, so amazing. Hey everybody, my dad is very mean to me. He likes to make fun of me a lot. I feel like that's just his way of showing affection. It's never anything too malicious, it's just very bothersome. Like, I'm really waiting on the day that my dad stops calling every notebook that I own my diary. And correctly refers to them as my dream journal. Because that's what they are. I love to explain to him that notebooks are for thoughts and journals are for hopes. And he would know that if he read page 47. It's cool. I mean, I just don't like that I can't reciprocate that back to him. I can't joke around with my dad because he takes things seriously. He can't take a joke. Like the other day we were at a gas station and he bought me a Snickers bar and on the wrapper it said know-it-all and he gave it to me insinuating that I was a know-it-all and he's like, oh, that's pretty funny, huh? So I tried getting him back and I got him a bar that said drama and then he yelled at me for 10 minutes about how that is not true and not funny. I was like, really, you're just proving my point. And then he took both the bars away from me and ate them like a 10-year-old child would do. I don't envy my father's humor. I do envy other traits about him. Like I envy his bravery. I'm not that brave. My bravery is probably best described as a see something, say something kind of bravery. I really that just translates to snitching. A real big snitch, you know? My father, on the other hand, his bravery is I am not afraid to go back to jail bravery. I know he has that because I've heard him say that phrase out loud to himself, with nobody around. And truly, if you're unafraid of an institution full of racism and violence, you are the bravest person on earth. Some people like to live their life like there's no tomorrow. My dad likes to live his like there is no chance for parole. I was asked to check out a documentary about Cesar Chavez and the Delano grape strike, and I was super into it until I started watching it and realized that the entire documentary is narrated by George Lopez, and I hated it so much. I hate it. I don't like how people like George Lopez and America Forever are the token Latinos represent us and everything. Well, they were just a race of people that were wrecked by Ugly Betty, and then a man who was the voice of a Chihuahua, in Beverly Hills Chihuahua Part 1 and 2. And frankly, I think we deserve more. And I think a lot of people don't understand the whole battle for representation and why it's so important to have minorities represented in all forms of media. And it's like this, imagine if for white people, for every significant moment in your people's history, there is a documentary, and then that documentary is always narrated by Tony Hawk. You'd hate it forever, right? Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that one day a man would be judged not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. I have a similar dream that one day Latinos in film will not be introduced by the song Lowrider. And on that day we will march in the streets. Because of that lack of representation, I feel like I never really had anybody to look up to in my community. Like I was always apprehensive to look up to anyone, especially police officers. Like I never looked up to police officers ever. A lot of reasons. My main reason is because one time a police officer told me a joke and it went like this. What do you call it when an officer pushes a civilian off the top of a building? An accident. And as a 10-year-old child, I was like, oh my God, you should not have this job. Have you had an officer confess to murder in a set-up punchline format? And then tell you can have that if you want it? It's like, who would I share that with? Literally the only other person who I think would like that joke is probably the devil. He's the only person who would like that. I know since that day I made about the only boys in blue I will trust are the LA Dodgers. All right? Okay, or literally anybody else without a badge. Okay. All right, that's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much.